Esplin at the point where he could
Yeah,
possibly play?
yeah, yeah. So he's eligible tomorrow. I wasn't comfortable the other day putting him in with how he needs to play, and today's practice cleared that up for me.
Rasmus and Matisse are probably going to play a lot of shifts against Kucherov's line tomorrow. And just how much do they embrace that? Because I mean, they want to be ready against the best, and it's pretty much the best. I mean, how much do they love a challenge like that? I guess.
Yeah, they do love a challenge. I think, and I hope it's getting to a point sooner than later where it's not even an extra excitement for them. That they just say, whoever you put us against, we know what to do and how to do it, and we're going to play. I think we've spoken of the young guys getting a chance to play against some of the elite players in the league. There's a surge of excitement there. I'd like to get it to the point where it's like, this is just what we do. These are the guys we shut down or we go after, and I think that they're getting to that point game by game. The more they play together and the more reps they get together, the more they're going to have that. They won't even realize, it's blends in one good player to the next good player, and they're moving toward that.
Don, you're getting both Tampa and Colorado this week. Just from someone in the game, what was your impression of that series at the level those teams played for 6 games?
It was really an interesting series. I thought Colorado just wore them out physically. Obviously, they had a lot of injuries to deal with, which I felt, you're fighting to overachieve. You're going to end up injured, and like we've talked about, so I thought the bar was set pretty high by Colorado. And it was impressive as that series moved along to see them just take over. And again, and Tampa had a lot of hockey in the last 2 years, and it just looked like it reversed in that series. And Colorado just took it over.
What was your thought 3 weeks ago? I mean, that was a game in Tampa, really as high level as maybe the Sabres have played in a while, been involved with the style, the atmosphere. What did that game mean to your club, even though you didn't come out of it with a point?
Well, I can remember, even the video and film we did, because we were in Carolina and in Tampa, and we had lost. We were without Yoka Samuelson, and Labushkin, and we had to bring guys up, and it was the way those teams play. We had some quick meetings of, okay, we all 5 players on the ice collectively have to dial in here as we integrate new defensemen in the lineup to take care of our own end and take care of their forecheck and their pressure. And I thought we did an exceptional job of that, closing quick, and that kept the game very tight. And we had enough chances to win, but they had enough finish to win. And I remember after that game saying the difference was their experience was the difference. That night, I thought our effort was great, our focus was great, even our execution. Their experience showed through. This time around, I like where we're at. I don't want to make it about Tampa tomorrow. It's about us playing our game. I think the other night there were lots of signs of fatigue early on in that game. We had practice the day before on Thanksgiving. We come in, we were very bad to start. I mean, we were just sloppy with the puck. And everything that we gave up chance-wise, we just handed a puck over, basically. And then we found our game halfway through, and I think our guys elevated their compete. I think they had a day rest. I think they're angry at themselves for letting that slip away the other day. And so I think this game is really about us. It's not necessarily about, in Tampa a month ago and proving that we're better than we were then. I think our guys are, and just what I started with Bill, like Kucherov and Hedman, we know they're great, and we know Tampa's a great team. But there's lots of great players and lots of great teams. And the sooner and more dialed in we can get to playing our own game, as we saw the other night. Once we got to our own game, we gave the other team a lot of trouble. We just didn't get to our own game quick enough.
middle side and Olsen have done a lot for you guys on the power play and other areas, but on 5-on-5, they've obviously been sort of searching for their games. Do you see them taking steps in the right direction, especially with the goal the other night?
Yeah, the goal the other night was a really great goal in the sense they had to fight for space for that goal, and it was a sprint from D zone scrum all the way up the rink with it was a foot race for both of them. So they had to fight for every inch all the way from our zone up to the point that they scored. And I do think they're on the perimeter more than they need to get off the perimeter and the inside more. And, that is much less a willingness and more of a better understanding, in my opinion. I think they're willing to do it, but and it's because it's timing. I mean, the perimeter is not a bad thing. You can use it to lure coverage out, which so many goals are scored. Most goals are scored that way. Is coverage is spread out and then they attack the inside after that. When teams hunker back, not a lot of goals are scored. When they put 3-4 back in their slot and they just stand there, it's getting them out and then beating them back to the inside. And I think that's one area that foot race did that. They won the inside ice through effort and determination, and I think that's an area that to even generate more chances for them, because they're not generating enough chances, let alone goals. That's what they have to focus on. So obviously something we discuss with them, and I think that we've had Vinny there, Aspie you could see there. You even could consider, at times I did that with Tuck and Thompson and put, Thompson and Skinner, put Okposo on that line because I just didn't think they were getting to the inside ice quick enough and hard enough. So I think that's something the Middlestead group needs to continue to work on.
Tigas was saying that on Friday he felt like he hadn't played in 4 or 5 weeks. When players come back, do you expect that they're going to get by on adrenaline for a couple of games and then they might start to kind of feel it a bit?
Yeah, I think it was 3 and 4 for Samuelson. He just looked exhausted. And I know you guys even covering us 3 and 4 days. There's wear and tear. There is. There's and he looked like he was worn out the other night. He tripped a few times. One was a goal resulted in it, which is just uncharacteristic of him. So he had a tough night, and I do believe it was coming off a long injury, and playing 3 and 4 was the biggest challenge of it.
As you get a longer look at that Cousins, Paterka, Quinn line, what do you like about the three of them playing together?
There's lots to like about him. I mean, from just the skill level, the talent that's out on the ice, the compete. I mean, we're seeing Jack Quinn a month ago, and everybody's healthy scratched him. Well, we didn't. Hell, we actually gave him a chance to step back, and we felt that would help him just breathe a little bit. And he was getting knocked off pucks at the time. He didn't look strong at the time, and you could tell that's a component of confidence. And that was slipping a little bit, and now he is stronger on pucks. He's so much more confident. And the three of them, you can see the chemistry they're developing. So you usually see it ahead of time in practice, and then it takes for whatever range to implement in a game. The more talented you are and the more confident you are, the faster what you see in practice, the player is able to implement it in a game. And we're starting to see that rapidly. They do something new and a next level play in practice, and then instead of a month from now doing it in a game, it's 2 games later. And that's a sign of talent and skill. So the three of them together have developed a chemistry. On the ice, on the bench, they communicate really well. And Cousins is a leader. We know that. Now he's got 2 guys that unequivocally he can lead, and he's doing a great job of that.
How much is there? I mean, lines can change, for a million different reasons throughout the season. But how much do you like the idea of 3 young guys kind of growing together and the consistency that can come if they play together for a long stretch of time, especially being so young.
Yeah, it's exciting because I mean, anybody can look up the analytics. Too many of our chances were coming from one line, and the Thompson line, and then all of a sudden you started to see this line generate more chances. That's exciting as a coach. Now you have that second line, and then the other night was a incredible change for us. If you just look at the analytics, Jost with Okposo coming back in the lineup and Gergensons, they had multiple chances, more chances than any third or fourth lines had all season in a single game, and you could see that visually, you could see that watching, but then the numbers backed it up. So that was exciting, and a real good veteran mindset and skill guy in Jost coming in with two guys that play a very direct game in Okposo and Gergensen to kind of lead. We talk to the team a lot about simple, hard, and direct, and that might be vague, and you might not have a clear picture of it. But when you say simple, hard, and direct, and then you watch Okposo and Gergensen, and again, I point to the experience of Jost, even though he's 24 years old, massive NHL experience with skill. Simple, hard, direct. He knows what it is. It's get a puck forward, get a puck behind the D, get going. So that line, I think, was three really good leadership components the other night. And the Cousin line can play that way with exceptional talent. So you start to see that effect of everybody affecting other lines in a positive way. So I like it a lot. Thanks, guys.